All right, thanks for tuning in. We are now joined by Ward Mullens. He is our guest today, and he is new to the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Ward.
Hey, thanks for being here. Or thanks for thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for being here. So, Ward, to start off, I love to have our guests share just a little something personal with our listeners, of just to give our listeners a little bit of background on who you are.
Well, I'm actually a native Hoosier, but I've been in Howell for the past 25 years, married for 27 years. I have two children. They've gone through the Howell public school system and now are in college. One of them just graduated with a nursing degree and is a nurse at the University of Michigan. My dog actually is from the Howell Rescue. So the whole family is based in Howell. We love it here. Obviously, we wouldn't have stayed if we didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're happy to have you here in Howell, and I'd be really interested to just learn a little bit about your career pathway and kind of a little bit more of your professional background and what kind of brought you to the Howell Chamber.
Sure. My career background started in journalism and newspapers in Florida and Indiana. And I spent time in daily newspaper work for probably about 10 years, mostly in Florida, and then went into the magazine business for a little bit in Florida and was an editor and a writer for that. And then found my way back to Michigan because I met my wife on a blind date. And she was from Michigan and came back here and was fortunate enough to work in communications and public relations at Eastern Michigan University for 15 years, and then spent 7 years at Clear University right here in Howell. So, I've tried to be as close as I could to the Howell community for as long as I could, and now I'm back and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. And now we're in, you've kind of started in the kind of communications role, and we're going to come full circle to that here in a minute. But what other kind of, was every position that you held focused on communications?
Primarily communications, storytelling, public relations, media relations, crisis communication, event management. I've been very fortunate to have a pretty broad career path when it comes to communications and the things that are involved with that. And when I was fortunate enough to see that the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce was looking for someone to manage their communications, I thought that this is just an incredible opportunity that I have to reach out for, because to be in your own backyard and to love a community and to want to tell the stories for that community, the old cliche was just a win-win, and there was just, I couldn't pass it up. So I was very fortunate that I was chosen to do this.
Yeah, so we're very excited to have you. Your passion, I think, shines through in the different things that you do, and just having a conversation with you today. So can you share with our listeners what you're doing at the Howell Chamber and what position you were hired for?
Sure. I'm the manager of communications and marketing for the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce. I will be telling the stories of the businesses in the community, sharing the good work of the Chamber of Commerce and its broad scope of the things that it actually does, besides the Fantasy of Lights Parades, which is coming up in the end of November, and besides the Balloon Fest, and besides a number of other important events. But really, working with businesses to tell their stories, why they're here. I love talking to people. Everyone has a story, and it's always interesting what that story is and why they are where they are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, in your own words, I know that Ward has graciously agreed to come on our radio station here, and he's just completed his first week with the Chamber. So, very, very new and very green in this role, not necessarily an experience. So we were very lucky to find somebody with the robust background that you have, Ward, and the different skill sets that you bring to the Chamber. We're very excited about that as well. But what I was getting at here is, in your own words, could you explain kind of what the role of a chamber is to you?
The role of the chamber is to serve as a catalyst, an advocate for area businesses to help the community as a whole grow in the right direction and grow the right way. And getting the word out about everything that happens with that is kind of a critical thing to do and a very important thing to do. So that's my understanding of. I hope that's the right understanding of what the chamber does and it is doing. Just helping bring business into the community and helping the community flourish.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I mean, I think it's definitely twofold, and it kind of is all encompassing. So, you've got your businesses and you got your community aspect, but they both need each other to thrive. So
Exactly.
that's exciting. Well, Ward, is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Just that I'm really excited to be working and living in a town like Howell, Michigan. As I mentioned, I'm a native Hoosier. I love the hometown that I came from, but this has always been a special place for me. The people here are incredibly warm and welcoming. The community as a whole is kind of the same way. And just to be able to come back and be in a professional capacity and tell those stories and help the community in any way that I can is just it's exciting. I'm not usually a gusher when it comes to emotions, but I really was excited when I saw that post for the position and the fact that I got an interview and actually got the position, and I'm just incredibly excited to do whatever part I can to help this community do whatever it wants to do, really moving forward to expand and flourish and grow and do it the right way.
Awesome. So what's at the top of your priority list then?
Well, right now it's actually the Fantasy of Lights Parade. The person that oversees me is a really nice lady named Janelle, and she's it's been kind of a learning experience here in the last week. But really, we're focused on the Fantasy Fest right now to make sure the parade gets back to full force, and there's a lot of cool things going on with the live reindeers and Santa coming to visit. So really, I think that's the focus right now. And then there's other things. Looking forward to doing a deep dive and kind of auditing some of the communications things that the Howell Chamber is currently doing, and to see how we can tweak those and improve them and make them better moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And specifically as it relates to membership, so how are you getting in contact with some of our members to maybe start on some of those priority items?
Right, I'll be reaching out, and again, I'm kind of an in-person guy. I don't, telephones are great, but I like the face-to-face interaction because you really get to know somebody. But I'll be reaching out to the new businesses that have joined the chamber here recently, and to those that are renewed here recently, to kind of sit down with them for just a quick chat, maybe a cup of coffee, just to find out how they're doing, what brought them here, what they're looking to accomplish in their businesses, and the people that they're trying to reach out to, and to see what we can do to help them with that.
Absolutely, and I know that we were also looking at different ways to highlight members. So I know that you've had some creative ideas around that, and what my members start to see in some of our communications.
Well, I think you're going to see, a very personal look at, well, not, personal in a bad way, but personal look at the businesses. Spotlights on each business on using social media, doing what we can to make the connections for radio and any other communications outlet we can achieve. And really making the connections with the media to get the word out about how businesses.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So signing on with the chamber, and you kind of got what, 5.5-ish business days under your belt here, and just looking at some of the scope of what our annual calendar looks like. I know we said Fantasy of Lights is kind of a main thing on the priority list, but what are you looking forward to most as far as, I know you said meeting with businesses, storytelling, but just kind of on maybe that docket of events, what are you looking forward to most of kind of seeing firsthand or being part of or having your hand in?
It's really kind of funny because I've been in the community, as I said, for more than 20 years. I've volunteered with the Balloon Fest. I've volunteered with the Legend of Sleepy How. I've volunteered with some other events in the community. It's really hard because every event is unique and good and fun. I would say probably Balloon Fest. That event is huge for Howell and huge for the state. And to see everything that goes into it and all the hard work that's put into it and just the grandeur of the event. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all of it, quite frankly. I'm excited about all of it. But Balloon Fest is a really huge deal as far as the town and the state are concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always interesting to see it all come together, I guess would be the right word for it. But it takes a community to pull it all off. And we have an incredible committee that provides a tremendous amount of volunteer hours and support to make it all happen. So we're very thankful to them to be able to bring the event back in 2022 to its initial kind of capacity and traditional format. So, and traditional, and hopefully bringing some new things too.
Yeah, it's always good it's always good to keep the things that drive an event like that. But it's always good to kind of have subtle changes, if you will. Things that move it forward and keep things a little fresh and a little new. You really touched on something relative to, I've only been here for 5.5 days, but but the level of participation from the volunteers is just amazing. I mean, and you know, it shines through as far as how is concerned with itself, because people will support things that they help build. And I think that really is what's going on here in Howell. You've got a lot of volunteers who don't get paid 1 cent, but they love what they do, and they show up every year, and they do it because they love the community and they love being here.
Absolutely. No, that is great. And it just in, like you said, your short time here, we've had a lot of interaction with our volunteers, and it's really typically like that. I mean, our volunteers are also our members and the people that make up our community. So they definitely give back a lot. I also wanted to just kind of touch on a little bit of your the diverse background of. So we talked a little bit about, you know, your focus is really going to be on the communications and some of the marketing for the Howell Chamber, also focusing on membership and what we can do to support our members, and the different programs that we have, and really just reaching out to members to and potential members as well to really understand the big picture and the big mission of the Howell Chamber. But additionally, there will be some event support in that. So what is your background with event planning?
It's pretty vast. Actually, I had some pretty incredible experiences while I was at Eastern Michigan University. At the time that I was there, Eastern Michigan University was the conservator of the artifacts from the Titanic. So we staged major events around that. I was in charge of commencement for Eastern Michigan University for a while, the entire program. Bruce Springsteen came to Eastern Michigan University. That was kind of a thrill. And there was a presidential visit while I was at Eastern Michigan University, and I was part of kind of coordinating the national media for that. So, you know, and there's been tons of events in between all of those major things. You know, I hate to drop names, but those are exciting things.
Oh, super exciting.
When those things happen, it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. But, you know, it's always great because when you do events, there's just a lot of details, but the hard work really pays off when the people show up and they appreciate what it is and what you've done. And I've been really fortunate to be involved with some pretty big stuff.
No, that is really cool, and I appreciate you sharing that with our listeners today, because I think it just kind of sheds a little bit of light on your experience and just your background. So again, we're so excited to have you on board here at the Chamber, and really are looking forward to seeing your career growth and progression here at the Chamber and working with our members. So I know that's one of our top priorities as we move into the next couple of weeks, months, and years here. I mean, we are a membership organization, and our members are first, and serving the community as well. So if somebody wants to reach out to you to set up a meeting to learn more, or to maybe talk about just communications in general, how would they go about doing that?
I would say send me an email at wmullens@howell.org. That's my new email address, and I'm happy to have it. And you know, whatever I can do to help, I'm here for the community and here to help the Chamber do the great things that it has done and continues to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Ward.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.